Resources are never the real problem. A lack of resourcefulness is the real problem. I'll say it again. Lacking the resources is not the problem. Lacking resourcefulness is the real problem. What I mean by that is very simple. The ultimate resource is human emotion. What starts wars? Is it logic? Hell no, it's emotion. What makes you get married or get divorced? It's emotion. What will make you stay up all night, work to build your business? Emotion. What will make you give up? Emotion. If you don't master your emotion, if you don't become resourceful, then you're going to think the problem is resources. Because I'm here to tell you, every great person I know didn't have the resources, but they got them because they're resourceful. And what that means is, if you're creative enough, creativity is an emotional resource, can you find an answer to the problem, yes or no? If you're determined enough, can you find the money that you don't have? Can you find it, yes or no? If you care enough and get other people to care with you, can you get them to help you, yes or no? If you are bold enough, if you're strong enough, if you're disciplined enough, can you get yourself to do things other people cannot find a way to do, yes or no? See, the ultimate resource is resourcefulness. If you can find the hunger inside of you and you can remember, I don't need resources, I need resourcefulness, that'll get me the resources, then anything you dream about you can make real. But the minute you forget that and you come up with a story that goes, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I can't do it, it's too far away, that's what's gonna kill you. Change your story, change your life. And we all have a story because we're afraid, all of us, to fail. We're afraid to not look good. We're afraid to be disappointed. We're afraid to get our hopes up. But the only way that you get courage, courage means you're afraid, but you do it anyway. It's not courage if you're not scared. Whether you do it or not is not going to be based on your ability. What you're capable of is amazing. What most people will do is disappointing. It has nothing to do with the content of what needs to be done. It's everything to do with the mastery of your own states.
Right, so we rock and roll. Welcome tonight. It's wonderful to have you all here. And let me stop the share there. So welcome. This is one of my favorite presentations, and I've done a lot of work on this, and it's something that I am extremely excited about in 2026. So why are we here? What are we doing? I've got one question that I've asked myself regularly at the end of last year and at the beginning of this year. How do I 10x my life? Now, we can extend that into how do I 10x my life, my business, and my wealth. But in simple nature, how do I 10x my life? So I'd like to ask you a question. Would you like to know how to 10x your life? Because if you would, then you're in the right place. So let me get up some slides for you here, and let's rock and roll. I hope you are ready to strap yourself in. It is an extremely hot day here. And it's about as hot as this presentation is going to get. So if you see me pretty sweaty, it's because it's so beautiful here in Africa. Sorry to all the people that are in the Northern Hemisphere, but it's absolutely spectacular here. And it's equally because I am super, super excited in terms of why we're here, what we're doing, and what we are going to cover. This is certainly a topic that has intrigued me a huge amount. Okay, so I've got my camera up there. I've got my chat room over here. So let's get started. Who's ready to get going? Who wants to 10x their life? Who thinks they're in the right place tonight in terms of 10xing their life? Yes? Great. Well, I want to welcome you to your new 10x life. I want to welcome you to 10x Elite. Now, this is for individuals who are implementing 10x in their life, they're accelerating, and they're going to the next level. I want to welcome you to understand what separates 2x from 10x players. And tonight, today, whatever time zone you're in, I'm going to unpack what 10x actually is so that you can truly understand it and you can implement it. You see, something that's really interesting to me is that 10x doesn't happen from motivation. It happens from structure. It happens from having the right coach, from having the right financial insight, and the right family integration. That's why some people have progressed so quickly in the last year, because they've had support. But in 2026, your growth is going to require you to go to a new level of support. Tonight is not about information. It's about environment. A 10x blueprint only works if you have a 10x container to execute it. That's why the 10x Elite, which has been upgraded, is all about who, not how. And the other principles the 10x actually installs. So I'm super excited to share with you this journey that I've been on. And I just want to share my screen here so that you can see it. I think that'll be a little bit easier. Oh, no, it's the wrong slide. That's the slide I want to share with you. Great. So you can see me a little bit better. Is that better? Just in terms of, just type in the chat room if that's a little bit better. You can see the slides better. You can see me better. I'm not a tiny little matchbox in the right corner. Okay. So I got a question for you. And tonight's going to be nice and interactive. The first question I'd like to ask you is, are you ready to change your identity? Now, I'm going to stop sharing my screen quickly so you can see me properly. Something that occurred to me last year when I read this book. So 10x is easier than 2x by Dan Sullivan and the guy, Dr. Benjamin Hardy. And this was one of those game-changing books. You can see I've got a lot of books behind me in my bookstore here. And these are my favorite books. I've got literally hundreds, if not thousands of books downstairs and even more ebooks and audiobooks. But when I really like a book, I tend to buy it so that I actually have a working document with it. And something that occurred to me when I read this book was I've spent my whole life chasing massive goals. I've spent my whole life chasing 10x goals. But most times I was quite disappointed because I get to the end of the year and I wouldn't achieve my goal. I wouldn't even come close. And what occurred to me when I read the book was I was chasing 10x goals with a 2x identity. Let me say that again. I was chasing 10x goals with a 2x identity. So with a 2x identity, all I was getting was 2x goals. Now, don't get me wrong. The goals I got compared to my peers were good goals, but they were no close to the big, hairy, audacious goals, the moonshots that I was aiming at. And what occurred to me at the end, the last quarter of last year, September, October, November, was that if I want 10x goals, I have to change my identity to be 10x. I have to align my values and my behaviors and my identity to 10x. And when I do that, 10x goals will become easy. Now, that was a massive mindset shift for me because I realized that I wanted to be 10x, but I was playing over here in the 2x environment. And the only way to shift into the 10x environment was to shift my identity. Now, how do you shift your identity? Well, it's all about making a commitment. We're going to talk a lot about this. So do me a favor, type in the chat box if you are committing to changing your identity, because there's no point in being here tonight if you want to come and listen and learn all the different tricks and everything else, but you're not actually prepared to change your identity and to actually implement. I wasn't joking, it's hot here. And so I'm wanting to ask you if you're ready to change your identity. Because if you're not ready to change your identity, you're going to be just like me. You're going to continue aiming at these 10x goals with a 2x identity, and you're not going to come close. And if you're part of the mastermind, you're going to complain and you're going to blame me and everyone else in the mastermind because you're not going to get results. But the point is you have to change your identity to help you get those results. And something that I love is this little picture, because the magic happens when you're out of your comfort zone. The magic happens when you're out of your comfort zone. And so what I intend to do tonight, very consciously, is drag you kicking and screaming out of your comfort zone. And if you want, and you're prepared to come on a journey with me, if you join our 10x Elite for the next 12 months, you and I are going to go on a journey where we will live outside our comfort zone consistently, because that is where the magic happens. You see, as Jim Rohn said, you're only as good as the 5 people that you hang around with. Now, take 30 seconds and just think through, who are the 5 people that you hang around with the most? Who are the people that you spend the most time with? Are they pulling you up? Are they pulling you down? Or you're just staying pretty mediocre? Because you'd be surprised. You're generally the same as all the people that are around you. So I'll take a quick drink of water And just take a thought. You can type in the chat box if the 5 people are pulling you up, pulling you down, or keeping you pretty stuck. Which one are they? So I can see stuck, equal, stuck and down, steady. Yeah, really interesting when you take some time to review it. So this happened to me actually, and it's a story. And I got to know Paul O'Mahony. I've known him for about 5 years, but I got to know him properly again about a year ago. And him and I have been speaking on stages, at the different events. And he said to me, "Hey, Scott, why don't you come to Botswana?" So I was like, "Oh, I'd love to come to Botswana. Who's going to Botswana?" He said, "Oh, well, myself and Mike Elliston and Robin Banks." And, I was like, wow, that's incredible people. Anthony, in terms of, incredible group of people. And I was like, cool, that's all sounds awesome. How much will it cost? And he was like, oh, it's about $20,000 to $25,000. I was like, pardon? $20,000 to $25,000. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, no, I can't make it. I was like, I don't really want to go to Botswana. That was like sort of my mindset, 2x. And he got on a call. I'll never forget. I was going to watch rugby with my son, and he was like, "Dude, you got to change your mindset. Like, you got to find a way." Now, my father taught me where there's a will, there's a way. So anyway, I made a commitment, and we'll talk about this later in terms of how important this is. But in simple terms, whenever you make a commitment, there's 4 C's. The first C is commitment. You make a commitment, even if you don't know how. The second C is courage. You need to have the courage because you don't really know how. Because you don't have the capability and you don't have the confidence. But the only way to get the capability and the confidence is to make a commitment and to have the courage. So anyway, I made a commitment and I had the courage. We found a cheaper way, so I found a way to go there a lot cheaper. I got someone to come with me, 2 for 1 special, that sort of thing. Where there's a will, there's a way. You always find a way. But I got to spend the 5 days with those incredible people, the 5 incredible people, and they truly pulled me up. And it was at this event that 2 things actually happened. Coming off the runway on, going into the Delta, Anthony was reading a book, and it was the Measure What Matters. Now, that's the book of Google. It's the operating system of how Google was so successful. It's all around OKRs, etc. And I remember turning to him on the runway and saying, that is one of the best books I've ever read, but it's been impossible to implement. I've never, ever been able to implement it. And the only person in the world that I know that has successfully implemented that is a guy called Jaco Maritz. And we ended up talking a little bit about it. Fast forward a couple of days, and we're on a game drive somewhere, and Paul says, "Scott, you really got to read this book. 10x is easier than 2x." And I was like, cool. What's it all about? So he tells me all about it. We're having this incredible adventure. These are all pictures literally from my iPhone. And you can see there's Robin Banks, there's Anthony, there's myself, there's Mike Elliston, and there's Paul O'Mahony, and there's Mike's wife. Most incredible group of people, just an incredible, pulling up massively, changing mindsets, thinking of new business ideas, etc. So I go away and I start reading this 10x book, and it's all about changing your identity, getting rid of the things that are not serving you, and who, not how. Stop trying to figure out everything in your life. Stop trying to, figure out how to do stuff, and rather figure out who to do it. So I literally started reading this book. And it's amazing. Like the wisdom, from it is incredible. Now, some of you, if you've read the book, do me a favor, type in the chat box. Have you read the book? Yes or no? So just type yes if you've read it and no if you haven't. I wanted to just kind of get a feel for people. Okay, yes. So sort of half-half. Okay. So, for me, some of the things of why 10x is easier than 2x, especially for investors. You see, the thing is that 2x is linear, it's incremental, and it's past repeating. So you keep doing the same thing over and over again. 10x is a new identity. It requires letting go of the 80% of what currently consumes your energy. In terms of global investing, 2x thinking is local bias, asset concentration, chasing returns, scattered decisions. 10x thinking is global diversification, exponential trends, partner leverage, systems, not hustle, high quality deal flow with high quality partners. Basically everything that we aspire for within Wealth Migrate. You see, most people fail not because they don't have opportunities. They fail because they tried to take yesterday into tomorrow. This season, today, this session is not about inspiration. It's about designing how you live and how you invest in 2026 so that you can operate with a 10x identity and get rid of your 2x habits. You see, for me, when I look at it, most people believe that exponential growth requires exponential effort. But the truth is, it's actually the opposite. 10x is not about doing more, it's about doing less. But it's about doing it at a far higher level. It's about raising your standards. You're going to watch my hands all day. It's always about raising your standards. It requires a shift in identity, thinking, environment, and leverage when it comes to your structures. Where 2x thinking tries to improve the past, 10x thinking creates a new future. And because 10x thinking forces clarity, focus, and leverage, it often becomes easier than 2x because you stop carrying the weight of everything that doesn't matter. These are the 10 principles that underpin 10x transformation in business, investing, and in life. So what's really interesting to me is I found this little infographic, and I'll give this to you as a gift. So I'll share with you later how you can get this. But there's a couple of things here. I've already said to you, if you're making a decision, and a lot about tonight is going to be making a decision, because you need to decide if you're going to commit to your 10x life. You have to commit first. You have to have the courage. You don't have to have the capability, and you don't even have to have the confidence. I'm going to show you how to do this. You know, it's about getting rid of the 80% that's existing and focusing on the 20% that's getting you the best results. And you can see how you change this inverse proportional. You eliminate the 80%. You need to increase your level. You need to, this is the part that I loved. You know, I was always told I'm not allowed to want what I want. Well, why not? Why can't you want what you want? So this is all about wanting what you want. It talks about the gap in the game and the massive impact and the importance of that process. And it also talks about your freedoms, time, money, relationship, and purpose. Everything that is important in this book is actually here, just on one page. 10x is better, not bigger. It's all about your unique ability. And most importantly, it's about your freedom. So there's two types of people. The first type is 99% of the world's population. As Ann Wilson says, it's the octopus on roller skates. They're going all over the place. They're doing multiple different courses. They're doing multiple different investments. They're course junkies. They've got no plan. They're focusing on get rich quick, and they've got no destination in terms of the process. Some of their 2x thinking that literally keeps them, the 7 traps that keep them, in that place. You carry complexity. Your systems become tangled and fragile, demanding constant maintenance just to keep pace. You stay local. Your vision is limited to minor competition, ensuring you never truly innovate or dominate. You react emotionally. Every single setback feels like a catastrophe, leading to impulsive, short-sighted decisions. You rely on willpower. Progress demands on unsustainable effort and discipline, leading to burnout and resentment. You stall out at the same level. You hit plateau and never break free to a new magnitude of achievement or scale. You build inconsistent wealth. You trade time for money in a linear fashion. Your financial security is fragile and fleeting. You stay trapped by your old identity. You remain the same person doing slightly better, never unlocking the potential of who you could be on a massive scale. Now, if you're honest, you don't have to put it in the chat box. You can if you want. But how many of you resonate with that 2x thinking? And then you compare it to the 1x, the 1% of the population, the 10x. They tie the 10x principles. They focus on their identity, not their effort. They focus on subtraction and getting rid of what's not working in their life. They focus on clarity. They focus on leverage. They focus on environment. And they focus on simplicity when it comes to execution. You see, when you look at the who, not how triad, that's what 10x Elite is all about. Because I'm going to share with you how I can work with you on your identity, on your strategy, and on your direction. Anthony and Garth from our family office can work with you on your portfolio, architecture, your optimization, and your allocation. And Amy can work on your family alignment and your legacy system. Because what is so important is you need to make a decision this year. Are you going to do it on your own or and continue in that 2x mindset? Or are you going to have partners? Are you going to have accountability partners that you can bounce stuff off that are going to help you get 10x? Now, I want to share with you a little story just before I go any further. So this book is all about wanting what you want and going for 10x results. So in the book, it says who, not how. And so everyone's running around the world, me included, trying to figure out how to do everything. But actually, that's a different mindset. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know who can help you get it. So in the book, it literally is talking about who, not how. And I've been thinking about how to put in systems and how to bring in project management and how to bring in accountability in our own company. And I remembered that day on the runway with Anthony and the OKR thing. And I was literally driving to Cape Town. And I phoned up Jacob Moritz and I said, hey, is there any chance that you'd be able to help us out on a part-time basis to implement the system? I know you're the best in the world. Can you help us? And he was like, yes. So he came in on a fractional basis from October. He was only in the team for 2 months, basically October, November, and a week or two in December. And the team actually, not me, the team voted him the most valuable player of 2025. That's the impact. So the question I have for you all night, all day, whatever time zone you're in, is who are you going to partner with? If you want what you want, who is going to help you get what you want? You don't have to know everything yourself, but who is going to help you get what you want? That is my wish for you. So just do me a favor, type it in the chat box, who, not how, because we're going to be doing this all night. I'm going to be helping you put these principles in place. Who, not how. Everyone's running around trying to figure out how to do it themselves. And what I want to help you do is figure out the who in terms of this process. Now, a good example of this was 3 years ago, we launched our collaboration with our family office. We call it Private Wealth Global. Some people know it as our mastermind, and it's about getting results safely and simple. And it's a joint partnership between our family office and between ourselves. And this is another classic example. You know, I don't know everything about structuring and tax and portfolio optimization. So my philosophy in life, if I don't know something, go and find the best person in the world or the best company in the world and partner with them. And that's exactly what we did with regards to Private Wealth Global. And there's 3 levels that we operate within Private Wealth Global. The first is core. So that used to be known as our 6K Club. We're going through an upgrade, which is the official launch is on the 1st of March. And that's for retail investors that are looking to become sophisticated. And it's all about mastering their portfolio. The second level is what we're calling the 10X Elite. And this used to be our 12X Club. And this is for 12K Club, and that's for high net worth to global investors. It's about global diversification. And then finally, the last level is legacy. That used to be our 24K Club, and that's for generational wealth investors. That's all about ensuring your legacy. So just very quickly, because you know most of the people online tonight are already mastermind members or part of Private Wealth Global, but there were a couple of people that were invited. So I just want to give you a quick rundown before we get started. So Private Wealth Global Core is all about the foundation. It's building a solid foundation. It's about getting the knowledge. It's about the monthly cadence, and it's about community execution. It's about building your global diversification plan with the family office. It's about your portfolio optimization, and it's about implementing consistently. And there are 9 steps to creating generational wealth. So our family offices look after the wealthiest people in the world. Our family office manages about $1 billion for 65 families. And we've worked with them for over 10 years. And we've looked at it. There's 9 steps that they take people through when it comes to creating generational wealth. That's not only looking at their tax and their structuring and protecting what people actually have, but it's growing what they have. It's optimizing what they have in an effective and efficient way. It's about, you know, handing over a legacy and handing over to their children and generational wealth, etc. And there's 9 steps. And I don't have time tonight to go into all 9 steps. But in simple terms, in the setup, we start, you can see here with phase 1, which is the setup. So we get very clear on where you want to be. We get you set up on the platform, and we understand who you are. What is your investor profile? There are 27 different investor profiles. This is a trademarked opportunity. You can't get this anywhere in the world, and it works on the Enneagram so that they know exactly who you are and can help you in a personalized, tailor-made fashion. Then phase 2 is all about planning. This is where they go and look at your current portfolio. What is your tax? What is your structuring? What is your current pension or properties or private equity or whatever you got, bit of crypto or gold or whatever you got. Then they help you optimize your portfolio so that you, in the safest possible way, are getting the best returns for you and your family based on your personal circumstances. And finally, they put it together with a wealth, lifestyle, and legacy plan. And once the planning's done, then it's about the execution. This is all about results. So we got the accountability, the mindset, and the execution. We've got the community, the partners, and the knowledge, or what we call the mastermind. And then we've got the investments and the results. So that's all the 9 steps that takes place at the core level. And basically, in simple terms, this is about a system, and it's about access to the partners. Then we go to the Private Wealth Global 10X Elite. And this is all about the 10X book. So this is the upgrade that this has gone through in 2026. It's our flagship implementation. It's about an identity upgrade. It's about our partner cadence and working much closer with the partners, me on a monthly basis, Anthony on a quarterly basis, and Amy with regards to the family and your legacy on a rhythm that you work out with her. And then it's about one-to-one accountability. It's about the 10X environment that makes execution inevitable. So when you look at it, what is it all about? Well, it's about implementing the 10X principles, and it's about the execution environment for 10X implementation and results. And then finally, you've got the final level, which is the Private Wealth Global Legacy. This is the done for you. And this is where the family office takes over completely. It's the done for you execution, and it's the legacy transfer. It's the white glove support for families building generational wealth. And when you look at it, the third and final one, it's all about the done for you certainty. So it just gives you an idea of the 3 different levels. Tonight's not about that. Tonight is about the 10X Elite. We're going to be going through the 10X principles, but how do you implement them? There's no point in having theory if you don't actually go out and implement. So what are you going to get today? You're going to get a 10X workbook. You're going to get the 10X principles cheat sheet. You're going to get the 10X execution and implementation plan for your life, for your business, and for your wealth. And I'm going to give you an invitation to join the 10X Elite, where you can accelerate your growth and your freedom and become part of our 10X Inner Circle. Right. Who's ready for the 10X principles to execute? Let me get a quick drink of water. Who's ready? Let me know. Do you want the 10 principles to execute? So again, I want to share with you a story, and I'm going to stop sharing here quickly. So I learned a principle again from Paul O'Mahony, and he was like, when he reads a good book, he listens to it over and over again until he implements that book. I thought that's a great idea, because what I do is when I always listen to audiobooks, and when I really like the book, I buy it. And the reason I buy it is because I make notes and I dog ear it and all the way through. Let me just find a couple of pages here where I made my notes. You can see here. So it's like a manual, and I go through it. So I've not only listened to the book already, I've now listened to it twice. Plus, I've read through the book and made notes in terms of where we're at. Why am I doing this presentation for you? And why am I taking this so seriously? Because my logic is, this book is so instrumental and so important if I want to 10X my life, that if I go and study it, and better still, if I teach it to others, then I am going to have a much better chance of integrating in my life. Remember Zig Ziglar's principle? You can have anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. What is 10X Elite? It's simple. It's an invitation to come on a journey with me over the next 12 months to implement the 10X principles. Why? Because I'm doing it anyway. And when I'm part of a group of other people, then I'm accountable, I'm committed, I go deeper, and therefore we all win. So this is my gift to you as I went and studied this and looked at what are the 10 principles, and more importantly, how do we implement them and how do we execute upon them? So principle number one, 10X requires a new identity, not more effort. 2X is a behavior change. 10X is an identity change. To 10X, you must stop asking, how do I improve what I'm doing? So don't get to the end of January and go, it's another year, I'm already tired. How do I improve what I'm doing? And start asking, who do I need to become to operate fundamentally at a higher level? I can't wait till just later when I'm going to show you all the work that I've done on my identity and what I'm sharing with the people coming on this journey, this 10x elite journey with me. You see, the problem is most investors stay stuck in incremental growth because their identity is shaped by do-it-yourself investing, over-responsibility, local-only thinking, fear of working with others and partners, emotional reactions to noise, worrying about whether Trump is taking over Venezuela, whereas a 10x identity is about global investors with structure, support, and strategic mentorship. A 10x identity is not born in isolation. It is reinforced monthly, shaped by expert reflection and supported by a community of peers who want to think bigger. The 10x elite integration is where your new identity becomes consistent. You see, because that is what is so important. On a monthly basis, you're going to be working with me where we're going to be reinforcing that identity shift, keeping you aligned and preventing you from slipping back into your 2x behavior. And you're going to see an exercise that we're going to do later that I'm going to show you, where you need to look at who you were in 2025, who you want to become in 2026. What is the new identity and who are you going to be held accountable to? So, principle number one, you might want to write it down because I find when you write stuff down, you start to take notes. Principle number one is you need a new identity. Principle number two, 10x begins with subtraction, not addition. This is one of my hardest ones, by the way. I'm always looking to do more, be busy, find more stuff. 2x is about adding more, taking on more, optimizing everything. That's me. Let's create a new course. Let's do more things. Let's do new things. 10x is about eliminating 80% that no longer serves the bigger picture. Interesting. You cannot carry yesterday's complexity into tomorrow's possibility. So most portfolios and wealth, where most people, their lives are really noisy. They've got too many assets, too many decisions, too many emotional attachments, too many local-only behaviors, too much DIY, trying to do it all themselves, complexity. 10x requires getting rid of all of that doesn't work. It's about subtracting the underperformers, getting rid of the misaligned partners, getting rid of the emotional assets, getting rid of the unnecessary complexity, and anything that drains your energy rather than compounds it. That was a big one for me. A number of things were draining my energy. I need to get rid of them. You need to keep the global trends, the passive income engines, the high-quality partners, the family office strategies, simplicity. You see, when it comes to the 10x elite, every quarter, Anthony actually identifies exactly what is leaking in your portfolio, what is obsolete, and what must be removed or rebalanced. This is the subtraction that the family office brings as a standard. And the question I'm going to be asking you later in the workbook is what must disappear in your portfolio so that you can 10x in 2026? And so for the chat box, point number 2 is subtraction. It's all about taking away. Are you with me so far? We're 2 principles in. Let's go to principle number 3. 10x goals create clarity. 2x goals create confusion. 2x goals keep you stuck in incremental thinking. 10x goals force radical clarity because only the few things that truly matter survive the filter. What's left brings you strategic focus. You see, small goals create clutter and indecision. Big goals force simplicity and focus and intentionality. 10x goals reshape your portfolio structure, your risk framework, your asset selection, your behavior, your environment. At the 10x Elite, that turns your 10x goals into systems. The monthly strategic guidance that you get from me, the quarterly financial alignment that you get from Anthony, and the family integration which you get from Amy, this is the structure that turns your big goals into predictable outcomes. It all becomes about systems. One of the things that I've learned from some of the wealthiest and most successful people in the world is that they do the same thing over and over again in a predictable manner because they found what works and they use systems. And this is all about systems. 10x goals eliminate the confusion and focus your energy to achieve it in 2026. So if you've got some big goals, you need to change your identity. You need to get rid of all the stuff that's holding you back. And by having a big goal, it gives you the clarity on what to focus on. At a mastermind level, what I always say to people, what are your top 3 outcomes? What are your top 3 priorities? And what are your top 3 measures? Simplicity is power. Big goals give you simplicity so that you focus on exactly what you want in terms of the process. Right. Number 4, 10x requires letting go of the past. Interesting one. You know, for me, 2x thinking tries to scale what already exists. You know, we all build stuff and you build businesses and relationships and partnerships and whatever, and you want to kind of keep working on it to make it exist. But 10x thinking requires you ending your outdated systems, your habits, your relationships, your expectation, and your strategies. 10x is not built on improvement. It's built on replacement. You see, you cannot take your old habits, your old fears, your old beliefs, your old partners, your old emotional triggers, or even your old financial behaviors into a 10x future. Your past created your present. I'm going to say that again. Your past created your present. Where you are today is because of the way you behaved in the past. It cannot create your future. The only way to create a better future is to let go of the past and to get the support that you need to go into your future. You see, the 10x Elite gives you the environment to release your old identity and to replace it with the emotional, strategic, and behavioral patterns that you need to be a global investor. I like to call it a global citizen. The question I have for you, what must you stop carrying from the past in 2026 so that you can go into the future that you've dreamed of? Right. Number 5, 10x uses leverage, not willpower. This is a really interesting one. I've always been someone that can work harder than anyone else. I wasn't the smartest in school, but I worked harder than you. I wasn't the most talented on the rugby pitch, but I was always the fittest. See, my strategy was probably 2x. But the problem with willpower is it creates burnout. Leverage creates exponential results. Now, do you know what leverage is, just by the way? Just in case you don't know. If you go and change a car tire and there's a nut, like a wheel nut on the tire, and you try to use your fingers, you're never ever going to get that nut off. But if you go along with a wheel spanner and you pull it down, you're going to be able to release the nut. That's leverage. Okay, so leverage is where you're using less force to get a better result. So what leverage do you actually have? Well, you can leverage people, partnerships, technology, capital, systems, knowledge, frameworks. You see, 10x is impossible alone. It is through a collaborative identity. Now, 2x is about working harder. And again, this was my strategy, and I've shared this before, but I just want to show you here quickly. So there's 3 types of people in the world. And I learned this originally from Tony Robbins. And I've showed this lots of times, so I'm going to keep this very quick. But the first type of person is a dabbler. They go try and do new stuff. They have a ceiling complexity, they fall off. They try to learn about stockbroking, and then they go to day trading, then they go to property courses, and then they try crypto. They keep trying things and falling off. You probably came to a 10x course and you won't implement it. So I don't really worry about those people. They don't achieve anything. They're just frustrated. Then you got stressors. Now, this is someone like me who goes out and they read a book and a course and they go on they find a mentor, and it's really hard and really hard and really hard, and then they stress and they break through. But then they had another ceiling complexity. They read another book, they got another course, they join a mastermind, they find a mentor, blah, 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 and they break through. But ostensibly, they're trying to do everything themselves. This is their strategy. Try and do whatever it takes And Corbus, I just saw your thing there. It's, motivation. It's all about yourself. You do whatever it's all about you. And then in 2010, I couldn't work any harder. We'd had the global financial crisis. I was working 7 days a week. I was getting nowhere. So I went on a course. I paid $15,000 with Tony Robbins. And he said, no, there's another way. It's the way of the master. You're over here and someone, you respect who's getting the results you want is over there. And what you can do is you can literally model a master. You can copy what they're doing. And then I learned even better is you can partner with them. The quickest, simplest, safest way is to be able to partner, to be able to get there. So this is a classic example of leverage, because for the first 14 years of my life, I was trying to do everything myself. It was hard. It was all about my willpower and whether I could just keep pushing. You see, because 2x is about working harder. 10x is about building smarter systems. Our ecosystem already has the Wealth Migrate platform. It has global operators. It has Calio as our financial partners. It has the mastermind and all the frameworks that brings in. We've got AI and automation. We've got strategic partners as an example. So when you come to the 10x Elite, it literally upgrades your personal leverage through partnership. You're learning from me. Like, I'm literally becoming a master, and I don't mean that lightly. When I do something, I do it properly. In what is 10x, what are the principles, and how do you integrate it? So I can help you with your strategy, your identity, your integration, your execution, and your results. Anthony and Garth can help you with your financial intelligence, with your portfolio optimization, with access to opportunities you're not going to get anywhere else, to your planning, and most importantly, to your peace of mind. And Amy, that specializes in family alignment. How do you talk about your money story, your legacy, and your execution with regards to your family and ultimately your generational wealth? 3 people that have become experts or authorities in this space. And by working and partnering with us, you can literally leverage. You don't have to know it all yourself. You can copy. You can partner. You see, this team ensures that you can leverage our expertise instead of relying on your willpower in 2026. And so the question I've got for you, are you still relying on your effort, or are you going to rely on leverage as you go into 2026? Principle 6, 10x thinkers focus on transformation, not transactions. Now, what does that mean? 2x seeks efficiency. 10x seeks meaningful breakthroughs, category shifts, transformations, and asymmetric upside. What does that mean? Well, why do you think that I go out and I spend the money I do to do the personal development, to go on the investor summit with Robert Kiyosaki and learn from some of the best investors in the world, go with Paul O'Mahony and Robin Banks and Mike Elliston to learn from some of the most successful people I know as to what they're doing? Because that's how you have massive, meaningful breakthroughs. That's how you find out about things like the 10x book. That's how you have category shifts. From Roger Hamilton many years ago, I learned about crowdfunding. The entire business of Wealth Migrate was created by working with Roger and playing at a whole nother level and creating an entire new category of business. The crowdfunding fintech business did not exist when Wealth Migrate was launched. Transformation as an individual. If you take the work that I've done with the Enneagram and Wealth and Karen, and hopefully you'll get to experience it, I have transformed myself in the last 2 years by going through that process. And then asymmetric upside, that's where you reduce the risk and dramatically increase the upside. I had 16 different houses, residential houses, that were earning me a low return with high hassle. And then I started investing in commercial property that had high return with low hassle. And I was like, that's a no-brainer. Like, why would I not go for high return, low hassle compared to low return, high hassle? And that's asymmetric risk reward. So the question I have for you is, what are you doing? Because 2x investors chase deals. 10x investors chase ecosystems. 10x thinking transforms your portfolio architecture, your identity, your family conversations, your long-term strategy, your generational impact. You see, our 10x Elite is not about doing more transactions. People come to me all the time and say, I want to buy this property, or I want to do this private equity, or should I invest in gold, or should I do private equity, or whatever. Should I invest in the stock market or silver? When you're thinking 10x, when you're operating at a 10x elite, it transforms how you think, how you decide, how you plan, how you allocate, and how you lead your wealth journey. And so the question I have for you is, what must transform in your financial life in 2026, not just improve? Let me repeat that. What must transform in your financial life in 2026, not just improve? Because we're not just looking for an incremental improvement. We're looking for a transformation. Right. The question I want you to ask is not, how do I do more? And start asking, what transformation do I need to create? Okay, number 7. How are we doing so far? Type in the chat box. Are you with me? We've got 4 more to go. Is this valuable for you? I need a quick drink here. Good, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I must admit, every time I teach it, it helps me reinforce it. It's fantastic. 10x thinking moves from time-based work to results-based work. Yo, this is another hard one. These are so hard for me because for someone who likes to outwork everyone else, it's not about working hard. It's about the results that you're actually getting. So 2x thinking is all about tied to the hours, the tasks, and the outputs. 10x thinking is tied to outcomes, direction, and multipliers. You stop managing time and you start managing the purpose. So let's look at it. 2x investors think in hours and tasks. 10x investors think in outcomes and systems. Global investing accelerates the shift. Operators run the assets. Analysts ensure the due diligence. The platform executes cross-border. The system compounds. 10x Elite ensures your personal behavior becomes results-driven too. You show up monthly for clarity with me. You refine your allocation quarterly with Anthony, and you align your family system intentionally with Amy. This is how your results and your system become authentic. And so the question you have for yourself is, where must you replace your effort with structure that produces the results for you? Let me say that again. Where must you replace the effort with structure that produces the results for you? How are you getting the results? How are you finding the structure? I'm going to share with you the 10x Elite principle and how you can execute and implement this year to get the very structure that you want to get the results that you want. Right, let's go to number 8. 10x requires better questions, not better answers. 2x questions are tactical. 10x questions expand the possibility. For example, 2x, how do I increase my returns? 10x, what structure allows wealth to expand automatically? The quality of the question determines the scale of the result. 2x questions keep you small. 10x questions expand your world. Examples. What global opportunity am I missing? How do I make my wealth build itself? How do I make my money work harder for me? What decision would my 10x self make? I love this one. You see this picture here of Richard Branson? Often I ask myself, what would Richard Branson do? The man runs 400 companies. If he got an SMS from every company once a day, he wouldn't be able to cope. When he had a big problem, when Virgin Atlantic, the bank, Lloyd's Bank, pulled his funding, $500 million, and he had to find that in 7 days in the early 1990s, and he had to fix that. I always remind myself, he has far bigger problems than I do. So what decision would he make? What decision would your 10x self make? In the 10x Elite, your questions evolve because your environment evolves. You get to think bigger because you're guided, challenged, and elevated every month by experts who help you ask the right questions. So the question you need to ask is, what is the single 10x question you must consistently ask in 2026? Anyone want to type it in? Anyone thought about it? I have. Mine's a simple question. How do I 10x my life? Simple. I ask it every single day. How do I 10x my life? It keeps me focused. It helps me with all the things that we've been talking about. Identity, removing things, who, not how, higher standards, better questions, doing less, etc., etc., etc. Right, principle number 9. 10x prioritizes the right environment, not the right information. Information is not a bottleneck. Environment is. 10x growth demands accountability, reflection, mentors, aligned peers, high quality inputs, emotional stability, and strategic frameworks. Knowledge is abundant. You can go on Google, you can go on ChatGPT, it's everywhere. But transformation is rare. Knowledge is abundant, but transformation is rare. Investors fail due to poor environments, not poor information. It's because they've got no accountability, no reflection, no strategic companionship or partnership, no emotional grounding, no expert guidance, no consistent framework. Within the 10x Elite integration, we create the environment engineered for your exponential growth. We have your monthly identity reinforcement. We have your quarterly financial intelligence, and we have your family alignment with a community of global thinkers. This is the environment where 10x becomes normal. Now, it's not normal to you right now. I get that. But in the next 12 months, for an elite group of people, it will be normal because we're going to implement and execute upon it every single month. And within 12 months, it will be normal. So, question I have for you, what environment must you commit to in 2026 for exponential results? Now, you might know already, maybe you don't. Maybe it's the 10x Elite group with me, because I am going to be taking a group of people on a 10x journey where we will implement the 10x principles over the next 12 months. We will create the environment where 10x becomes normal. So, what environment must you commit to in 2026 for exponential results? Because your environment dictates your behavior, and your behavior dictates your outcome. Let me say that again. Your environment dictates your behavior, and your behavior dictates your outcome. If you want great outcomes and you want a great life, you have to put yourself in the right environment to make that a reality. There's a great saying by Einstein: if you put a Ferrari in the desert, it's irrelevant. If you put a fish in a tree, it will die. You've got to put yourself in the right environment so that you can not just survive, but actually thrive. Principle number 10. 10x is easier because it forces simplicity. 2x is heavy, complicated, messy, and overwhelming. 10x is simple, elegant, essential, and powerful. Once you clear away the non-essential, you operate only in your highest value activities, which is why 10x becomes easier than 2x. So 2x feels heavy, chaotic, and emotional. 10x feels clear, elegant, and aligned. Simplicity is the reward. I love the word simplicity. I talk about it all the time in the mastermind, because simplicity is power. It removes the noise. It sets 10x goals. It chooses aligned partners. It builds consistent systems. It operates in the highest value zone. The 10x Elite gives you simplicity through structure. Your decisions become easier. Your portfolio becomes clearer, and your family becomes aligned. Your direction becomes focused. Simplicity emerges because you're no longer doing this alone, and you have partners by your side holding your hand. So the question I have for you, what must you simplify in 2026 to make 10x your new normal? What must you simplify in 2026 to make 10x your new normal? Right. I have a bonus principle for you. And I believe this is the most important one, because the first 10 principles you can still try and do all on your own. And most of you are not going to hear what I'm saying tonight. You're going to say, well, that was lots of nice information, and you've probably bought the book but not read it. And you might understand the book in theory, but you're not actually going to implement. I know because I'm just like you. I have hundreds of books, if not thousands of books that I've read and not implemented. And the difference with this book is it's who, not how. Don't worry about the how of doing it. Worry about who you can do it with. Because when you look at it here, the principle unlocks every other principle. The bonus of who, not how. 10x is a team sport, not a solo mission. I've taken you through the 10x principles for 10x, but this is the one and only. This is the most powerful of them all, because this one actually allows you to make 10x possible. So let's look at what it's all about. 2x thinking is, how do I get this done myself? How do I get this done? 10x thinking, or sorry, 2x thinking is, how do I get this done? Where do I find the time? That's a classic one. I get this all the time. Doesn't matter how successful someone is. I don't have enough time. How do I solve this problem myself? 10x thinking is, who already has the capability? Who's already done this before? Who can do this faster, better, and with less friction? Who can accelerate this for me? Who can partner? Who can I partner with so I never have to do this alone again? I hope you're answering these questions for yourself. Stop worrying about how, and start worrying about who. Because the sooner you get clearer on the who, the sooner you'll be able to accelerate. Right. 10x requires identifying the right partners, the right specialists, the right frameworks, the right accountability structure. The who, not how, is the gateway to 10x, not a step within it. 10x requires identity changes with the right who. Subtraction becomes easier with the right who. Leverage is impossible without the right who. Better questions are asked inside a who-driven environment. Simplicity emerges when you stop being the bottleneck. It's all about the who. You see, the 10x elite is the real-life embodiment of who, not how. I, myself, help you with your strategy, your identity, and your implementation. Garth and Anthony help you with your financial intelligence and your results. And Amy helps you with your financial alignment and your legacy. This principle of who, not how, is why most investors never reach their 10x potential, because they try and do global investing alone. They try and build wealth alone. They try and carry their entire family on their shoulders, proverbially, alone. They try and set up their financial structures alone. And they do everything in a 2x retail mom and pop way. The 10x journey is not meant to be a solo mission. And this is why you need to get clear on who are your who's. This is exactly why we built the 10x Elite, so that we can give you the who's so that you can get the result that you actually want. So let's summarize. 2x is all about effort, addition, improvement, optimization, busyness, and overwhelm. 10x is about identity, subtraction, clarity, leverage, simplicity, and transformation. 10x is easier because you do fewer things. You focus on what really matters. You leverage partners and systems. You stop repeating the past. Your environment upgrades your behavior. Your identity shifts to match your goals. 10x is not harder, it's just different. 10x is not harder, it's just different. It requires you to think in a different way. My massive takeaway when I first read this book was not that this was groundbreaking stuff. In fact, honestly, a lot of the stuff I'd heard before. I'd read it before in books like the 80-20 principle, etc. But if you know something and you're not doing it, then you don't know it. Let me say that again. If you know something and you're not doing it, then you don't know it. So rather than trying to worry about how to do it, figure out who to do it with, start implementing and executing, and then you will know it. So I have a question for you. If you are prepared to fill in our survey, so I'm going to put up a survey for you. I will then share. So anyone who fills in the survey, we will email you a number of things. We're going to email you your 10X workbook. We're going to email you the 10X principles cheat sheet. And we're going to email you the 10X execution and implementation plan for your life, for your business, and for your wealth. So let me just show you what they all look like. In the meantime, I will put up the poll. So fill in the poll. I always like to get feedback from people as to whether you 10X are ready to 10X your life. So I've launched the poll. So let me show you what this looks like. So I will get the book up here. So this is the 10X review and planning. So this is a full book. We're about to do some of these exercises now. I'll take you through this, but you've got a full book of how to implement everything that's with the worksheets and everything else. So you can see the full book. You've also got the 10X principles. That's over here. And so it's the 10 principles. So each one of the 10 principles I've just taken you through. Everything that I've just spoken about is actually here. And you can read all about it in terms of that process. And then finally, there's actually a thing on a case study between a 2X investor and a 10X investor. By the way, I'm going to do an entire another presentation on this because there's no ways I could do it all tonight. But the difference between a 2X investor, a mom and pop investor, and a 10X investor, and what they actually do and how they do it. But what I want to do is I'd like to give you 3 wealth diagnostic exercises. So this for me is really, really important. And I can see that only 2% of you have done the poll. So I'm only giving out my workbooks to people that fill the poll in terms of the process. So go do the poll for me. But these turn the 10X principles into lived experience. So let's look at the identity diagnostic first. I want you to write 2 lists. I want you to identify your 2025 version of you. What are your habits, your fears, and your behavior that kept you small? Then I want you to look at your 10X identity, your 2026 version, the investor who is globally diversified, calm, intentional, and leveraged in that process. Now, let's just go look at that quickly. So if I pull up that document, where's it gone now? That's the wrong one. So if you look at the review, you can basically see here, you can go read all about it, but there's 3 things. You've got your identity, subtraction, and your strategy. So you go down to, starts with the identity, then your subtraction, then your strategy, and then your implementation. So you literally go down here, and you can see there's your 2X identity 2025. So what habits have kept you operating at a 2X level? What fears or doubts have limited your decisions? What emotional patterns slowed your momentum? And what did you tolerate in 2025 that you can no longer tolerate in 2026? Then in terms of your 10X identity, who do you need to become to 10X in 26? What top beliefs do you need for 10X that holds true? How does my 10X identity make decisions? What supportive structure does my 10X require between monthly strategic coaching, quarterly financial reviews, family and legacy alignment? And then finally, what's your identity declaration? That's the first exercise. The second exercise is your portfolio subtraction mapping. Assets to delete, low performance, high anxiety. Processes to simplify. Decision rules to upgrade. Partners to stop managing yourself. So your goal here is to identify the 80% that actually holds you back. So again, if I go back to that document that we were just going through, and we go to the next thing, which is your portfolio subtraction. So what assets do you need to get rid of between underperforming or ones with unclear strategy? What processes do you need to simplify or remove? Financial processes, decision-making patterns. What partners, systems, or behaviors? Things like DIY behavior. What must I stop doing? Which partners do I need? And then basically, what are the top 5 things that I will subtract in 2025? Finally, your 2026 global wealth map, using the Wealth 5.0 and global diversification frameworks. Your participation map, what countries do you want to invest in? What currencies? What assets? What time? And with which partners do you want to leverage? Your output here is a 1-page 2026 wealth blueprint. And again, if you go look at that exercise, you can see that you've got a wealth blueprint here. So you've got your country diversification. What are your countries? What are your currencies? What assets? What time? And how you're going to leverage your partners. And ultimately, you get down to your quarterly financial reviews, your family alignment, and then your 2026 Global Wealth Blueprint. Okay, so now, what is important? Let's talk about accountability and momentum, because the question I have for you, are you going to continue to remain like you are at 2x? So do me a favor, just type in the chat box. Are you going to, the poll is up. I haven't stopped the poll. So the poll is there. I've not stopped the poll. So it's live for everybody. So are you going to remain 2x? Now, that document that I just shared with you, because I gave this to my entire mastermind, including myself, by the way, in December. And I know that no one did it, not a single person. So bringing your 10x blueprint to life, you need to upgrade your 10x identity, you need to do your subtractions, and you need your global wealth map. The most important insight, what you have created here is not a dream board. It's not a wish list. It's a blueprint, and blueprints do not execute themselves. 10x growth requires more than intention. It requires environment, accountability, and the right who's. A strategic guide to keep you aligned to your 10x identity, a financial expert to refine and optimize your portfolio quarterly, and a family integration specialist to ensure your household supports your legacy instead of silently resisting it. When these three elements align and are in place, your 10x plan becomes inevitable rather than optional. As you step into 2026, keep this truth front and center. You do not achieve 10x alone. You achieve it through structure, partnership, and leverage. You now have clarity. You now have direction. You now have global strategy. The question that remains is, what environment will you choose to support the future you're building? Use this blueprint as your guide throughout the year. Return to it often and refine it as you grow. As you commit to the identity, the subtractions, and the strategy that will make 2026 your most transformational year yet. So I've given that all to you as an exercise. And you really get to choose. Do you want to continue to do it on your own, which can continue in the 2x behavior? Or do you want to 10x and have accountability partners, have me and Anthony and Amy to work with you to be able to help you get the results? Because that is 10x. And so do me a favor, type in the chat box. Are you committing to 2x this year, or are you committing to 10x? And if you're committing to 10x, would you like me to show you how you can actually implement 10x right now? Okay, so I can see lots of people are committing to 10x. Great, you're joining me because I'm committing to 10x as well. Okay, so let's rock and roll. Let's look at the integration and how you actually do this. So I want to give you an example. I sat down and I said to myself, for not only myself, but for a group of people that are in my 12K club, I'm going to rename that our 10x Elite. And I said, how do we actually implement this? And so I went and created a document. As you might have noticed, that's what I do. And where's it gone now? Oh, I didn't open it. Sorry, 2 seconds. Let me just get it open for you. So what I did is I created this document. And it was how do we implement those 10 principles over the next 12 months. And so it's a coaching game plan. The executive summary, a 12-month 10x journey. The 12-month program creates a clear path, identity upgrade, removing complexity, installing systems, and building global partner-led leveraged wealth strategy. The direction is solid, quarterly structure, monthly identity resets, portfolio refinements, and family alignment. However, the real shift doesn't come from frameworks alone. It comes from consistent execution, emotional discipline, and replacing 2x habits with 10x behaviors. The brutal truth, if the client only consumes the content but doesn't implement the monthly actions, their results won't change. 10x requires subtraction, structure, and accountability, not more information. When the client follows the model, identity work in Q1, so January, February, March, leverage in Q2, execution environments in Q3, and simplicity in Q4, they build the same architecture used by the top 1% global investors. But the breakthrough only happens when they stop relying on willpower and start relying on systems, monthly coaching, quarterly financial alignment, family integration, and behavior tracking. Without this disciplined cadence, old patterns surface. With it, clients shift permanently into higher level integrity of clarity, confidence, and global wealth creation. So every quarter has a theme, every month has a clear objective, and everything ties back to the 10X principles. In Q1, it's about identity and subtraction. Who are you becoming and what are you releasing? And month one was all about an identity upgrade. So let's look at this future pacing in terms of that process. I'll share with you my identity upgrade just now, if you want to see all the work that I've done and how much I've used AI and how valuable that could actually be. In fact, let me show you quickly here. I think it might be useful for people. So what I did, and I'll go through it very quickly, but you can see here there's the identity diagnostic. So that's the document that we just went through, and you've got the identity diagnostic here. So I take people through the identity diagnostic, and we help them get very clear on what is their identity and what do they actually need to do. Then it's about your vision and your values. So what are your values? Then it's about your investor archetype. And then finally, it's about your identity declaration. So what's really interesting is that I did that, and I went and I created these documents, and I just want to share them with you quickly. So I went and I created a document. So I don't know how much you use ChatGPT, but I have a clone. I'm going to teach people how to do this, but I have a clone with my own writing voice, my own business clone, and my own personal business clone, all within ChatGPT. It allows me to do everything. It knows all about me. So I went and did my entire values identity 10X shift. And I'm going to teach people that come on the 10X Elite to do this for themselves. But if you look here, I basically created my own prompt. So if you get your values, your identity, and your behaviors aligned, you're going to get your results. So I took them through John Demartini's process, my 10 values, my identity shift, and what needed to shift. And then basically it came up with an entire embodiment plan and questions I need to ask on a monthly basis. So you can see my top 10 values. You can it then takes my, what I need to do, my old identity, and what I need to shift with my new identity. It's then got my top 10 values. And what do I need to do? So my number 1 and 2, purpose and freedom. If it doesn't scale impact and increase freedom, it's a no. My behaviors, only accept meetings that create leverage, create revenue, or create alignment. Design Wealth University and Wealth Migrate to operate without you daily. Build one platform, one message, and one ecosystem narrative. 70% plus of your work must be spent in visionary, revenue, and relationship roles. And it goes through each one of my values and what I need to do in terms of my behaviors to get my 10X results. You don't need new values. You need courage to live the ones you already have without the compromise. When your values, identity, and behavior are aligned, 10X stops being effortable. It becomes inevitable. Now, for my clients, I've taken them through and I've created a whole values document. By the way, you don't have to do the work because I've done it for you. And it can go and help populate what are your values. And finally, it comes down to what is your personal identity? And where's mine gone now? No, that's not the one I wanted. Just give me 2 seconds. Yep, there it is. So there's my identity declaration. I am a visionary wealth architect. I design and lead global wealth ecosystems that prove capable people from earned income to investor freedom through education, diversification, and aligned partnerships. I operate from clarity, not chaos. I protect my time, energy, and focus as strategic assets. I spend at least 80% of my time in visionary, revenue, and relationship roles. I do not carry what can be designed. I do not tolerate misalignment. I do not confuse activity with progress. I lead with integrity, decide with data, and build systems that compound without my constant presence. I earn my worth, live my values, honor my family, and build legacy through freedom, impact, and intellectual capital. Now, why have I shown you this? Because I use myself as a guinea pig on how do you actually go out and do this in terms of implementing it. And if I show you here, and if I just close this and I open up, I've basically got the 10X Elite. And if you go through the 10X Elite, you can go read the start here. You've got the books to read. You've got a vault library with all the different, there's a whole bunch of resources here. But if you go to the very first one, month one, the identity upgrade, I basically take you through the process of exactly how to do it. I even give you the prompts that you can go and put into ChatGPT and build your identity. Because if you don't build your identity, you're never going to get 10x. You have to change your identity to get the 10x. And I literally take you through it. And this is exactly what 10x Elite is all about. It's helping you month by month implement each one of the principles in a strategic, logical way on a monthly basis. So that at the end of the year, all your principles are implemented. You have a 10x mindset, a 10x identity, 10x behavior, and you have 10x results. So when it comes to your future pacing, you've got two paths. You got path A, where you try and hold yourself accountable, like you did in 2025. And you probably tried that for many years, and that sort of sticks with the 2x cycle. Or you got path B, where you step into a structure where I and you meet every single month, and we upgrade your mindset and your investor identity. You meet with Garth annually and Anthony quarterly to review your portfolio like your family office. So they're the two from the family office. And you meet with Amy that ensures your financial family conversations and your legacy that actually match your goals. So my question for you, and type it in the chat box, are you going to go with path A or with path B? Which one would make sense for you? Path A or path B? Do me a favor, because you get to choose. Which one are you going to do? You committed to 10x. Are you going to continue to try and do it yourself? Or are you going to come path B in terms of, and get the support in terms of that process? Right. And then number 3, this is what turns your 10x vision into 10x results. Step 3. Today, I've given you the plan. I've literally given you the plan. You can go and chat GPT, you can read the book. Getting the information is easy, but now you need to implement it. And to implement it, you need a 10x environment. We have literally created a 10x environment for you. That is why 10x Elite was built, to implement all of the pieces of the puzzle that you need to get the 10x results. If your goal is serious transformation in wealth, identity, and generational impact, then 10x Elite is the container that makes 10x easier than 2x in terms of that process. You have the blueprint. Now you need to choose the environment that determines whether you repeat 2025 or 10x in 2026. If you want the structure, if you want my leadership, Anthony's financial intelligence, and Amy's financial integration, then join our 10x Elite and make 2026 the year that your life compounds. If it sounds good, just type in there 10x Elite. If you would like to come on a journey with me, just type in there 10x Elite, because I'm going to choose a select group of people to come with me over the next 12 months to implement 10x Elite. And it's not just with me. It's with Anthony and Garth from our family office, and it's Amy with regards to the family legacy and the integration in terms of that process. So what are the outcomes that you'll get? At the end of 12 months, your client will operate with a 10x identity. They'll have eliminated all of their 2x behaviors. They'll own a clean, structured global portfolio. They'll use leverage, not willpower. They'll think and decide like the top 1%. They will have embedded the supportive environment, and they'll have a long-term wealth ecosystem. Does that sound good? Is that what you would be looking for? Because at the end of the day, this is about a 10, 20, 30-year wealth trajectory. You can continue to do what you've always done, as Einstein said, and the definition of insanity is to hope for different results, or you can make a fundamental shift. You can join 10x Elite. You can join a group of people that are not just talking about it, but are doing it on a monthly basis, and you can go to a whole new trajectory. So most of the people that are online are already part of our mastermind. I wanted to show you what we're doing from the 1st of March, and I'll talk more about this at the mastermind session in February. But our current core structure, what we call our 6K Club, in 2025 was a $6,000 investment to join. From the 1st of March, it's going to $8,000. our PWG, 10X Elite, which is our 12K club. Because of all the additional value that has been added, it's going from 12K to 15K. And then finally, our 24K club, which is our PWG Legacy, which is 24K, is going to 35K in terms of that process. Now, I've got some really exciting news for our current mastermind members. Those people that are already part of the 6K club, or core as we call it, you've already invested 6K. And the best news is we're going to give you a voucher. So we literally, your 6K invested, we're going to give you your 6K back in terms of that process. If you want to join the elite, we're going to keep the price locked in at the 2025 price for you, so the 12K. And we're going to give you a voucher. So it would literally just be the 6K to be able to upgrade to the elite. And you can use the priority booking. I'm going to share a link with you. Maybe Shanika, if you can put the link in, I'd appreciate it. And all you've got to do to secure your spot is to pay $500. So $500 to secure your spot in the elite 10X. You get to lock in your 2025 prices and you save 25% in terms of the process. So what do I mean by that? You go to this website, diversificationmastermind.com, and if you literally go to priority, you can pay $500 and that'll go towards the full cost of the full investment of the 6,000. And you can book your slot. So you're booking with me and you'll book your first slot with me and we'll literally get started in terms of the process. Now, because you're already a mastermind member, you're not buying from scratch. We're upgrading you. We're giving you the credit. You've already invested 6K. And so tonight, we're going to help people step up to the 10X Elite for only another 6K. And you lock in before the March price goes up. From the 1st of March, the 1K club, the 6K club is actually going to 8K. This means the future members will pay more just to get started, and they won't get the upgrade and the credit that I've just mentioned. So you're getting rewarded for already being a mastermind member and for being in early. And this is the advantage of being an existing member. So you can upgrade at the old price and your investment already gets fully recognized and rewarded in terms of that process. I've worked really hard along with our partners on the mastermind over the last 3 years. Every year, we've tried to do a geometric upgrade with the Calio team, with our own team, to help people get results. And why this is so important is that every single person that has joined the mastermind has joined the mastermind to get results. And so I'm always looking with our team, with the family office team, with the Calio consulting team, how we can help them get results. And the question I'm asking for everyone that is part of the mastermind is how can you 10X your life, your business, and your wealth in 2026? You've really got two options. The one is you go to priority. You click on the priority button and you literally put down a $500 deposit and you book your slot. Now, obviously, if you're already part of the 12K club, I saw that Archie was online and Marina was online, Paula was online, just a couple of names, Alan was online. I saw you're already part of the 12K club. You don't have to worry. You're already part of the 12K club or what's going to be referred to going forward as the 10X Elite, because we're going to be implementing the 10X principles on a monthly basis. And if you're not part of the mastermind and you want to apply, this sounds really good and you want to be part of it, then go to apply, find a time where you'll sit down with my partner, Alex, and you can talk through how this all works, what the pros are, what the cons. The reason we use the word apply, we need to make sure that there's the right fit. If you're already a mastermind member, then there's the right fit already, because you already have been, you're already part of the mastermind. We want to just do whatever it takes to help you go to the next level. The reason I've worked so hard with Anthony and Garth from the family office and with Amy on the legacy and the generational wealth and how to set up the family structures is that we know that when people join, that's why we're calling it core, that you need to get your core foundation stabilized. Once you've got your core foundation stabilized, now it's time to go to the next level. Now it's about your execution and your acceleration. How do you do that? You do that by working with me on a monthly basis. You do that by working with Garth on an annual basis and Anthony on a quarterly basis around your portfolio optimization. And you do it with Amy with regards to your family, your legacy and your money story within your family, and how do you have all your money conversations, and ultimately How do you build your legacy and your generational wealth? So to secure your seat, it's really easy. $500, you literally go to that website, diversificationmastermind.com. Shanika will then follow up with you. There's 3 different options. You can either pay in full, there's 3 part payments, or you can pay monthly. So whichever one, but we've literally made it a no-brainer. $500 so that you can commit, because I remember what we said up front. There's 4 C's that you need to do. The first is commitment. The second is courage. The third is capability. And the fourth is confidence. You don't need to have the confidence or the capability when it comes to 10x right now. All you need to do is to make a commitment, and you need to have the courage. And the reason that we made it $500 and an absolute no-brainer is that we're allowing people easily to make a commitment to yourself. Everyone tonight said, I want a 10x. Anyone that said I commit or want a 10x should pay $500 because that's the commitment. It takes courage. I understand that. And for a group of 20 people, you're going to come on a journey. Now, remember, there's already 11 people that are part of the 12K club. So what is being referred to as the 10X Elite. So there's only 9 spots available. But for 20 people this year, you're coming on a journey with me to 10X your identity and to get the results that you want. And so that is the commitment I'm making to you. I have the courage to put myself out there and to make sure that we do it. Between myself, Anthony, and Amy, we have the capability, and we will give you the confidence. You don't have to have the capability. You just have to partner with us to do it, and we will give you the confidence to be able to get the results. So the question I ask you is, are you going to commit? Because that's what it's all about. You know, I'm going to be away on Thursday and Friday. So it's actually my birthday this weekend. Monday is my actual birthday. So I'm going to be away. And so one of the reasons that we've said that this offer is going to last till Monday evening, so it's going to close at midnight UK time on Monday evening, is because Monday is my birthday. I can't do any meetings on Thursday, Friday, because I'm going to a music festival. So one of the things is want what you want. I want what I want. I want to go and have fun at this music festival. I've wanted to go for ages. So I'm going to go there for my birthday weekend. And then on Monday, it's my birthday. So I thought, well, what a beautiful excuse to give our mastermind members and our community. So mastermind members get first option, then the wealth hackers, and then our community, and our shareholders obviously get behind the mastermind members. But the point being is that I want to give you the opportunity to come on this journey with me so that you too can get results. And because it's my birthday, call it a birthday gift from me as to why we're keeping it so affordable and so like literally no-brainer to be able to get started in terms of this whole process. So for those left brainers, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail so that you can look in terms of where we're going. Let's go into this in a little bit more detail. So I told you already that 10X Elite is all about implementing the 10X book. It's about the execution environment for 10X implementation and results. And that's what today was all about. So again, if you look at this overall process, I focus, so in the 10X Elite, where we take it to the next level is for step 1 and step 7. Because normally in the core, you've got transactional coaching. So that's where short-term, increased performance, behavior, achieving goals, achievement, results-orientated at a more superficial level. In the transformational, it's longer term, it increases your personal value. It's about your client value and your attitude. It's identifying your goals for life. It's about self-esteem and fulfillment. It's about being person-orientated, and it's at a much deeper level. So when I do the one-to-one coaching, it's all about transformational coaching versus transactional coaching. So we start at the top. What is the big picture goal that you're trying to achieve? And that's why I sit down with you. I go through a one-to-one process, and we get very clear on the outcome. We call this our Lighthouse model. What are your top 3 outcomes? What are your top 3 priorities? And what are your top 3 measures? Then we go down to your quarterly and your monthly execution. So in the core environment, actually, we do that in a group coaching environment where we check in every month in a group coaching environment. But when you do it one-to-one with me, every single month, we're going to go and we're literally going to go through the homework and we're going to go through each month. We're going to implement the exercise. What is the identity? So in month 1, it's about 10xing your identity foundation. And we literally go through the process and we do the exercise. And then the second thing we do is we get very clear on what are your action items. So I use a piece of software, which is a great piece of software in terms of, here we are. Oh, no, that's not it. Where's it gone? Oh, why did it duck? Just give me 2 seconds. Oh, what's going on? It's so weird. X-tiles have disappeared. There it is. So you can see all my different plans there, but let's just go to a template because I don't want to open someone's personal one. So every month we've got your 3 top outcomes that we check in on that on an annual basis. I run this all for you, so you don't have to do the work. You have to implement on a monthly basis, but I run the process. So what's your focus for the month? What's your goals? What's your priorities? What's your metrics of success? And then each month we go through the process, we give a scoring, and we get very clear. So it's all about the accountability and the execution in terms of that process. That's why I call it transformational coaching. So I give you the monthly direction and the identity expansion. I keep you focused, aligned, and accountable. It upgrades your investor identity and it removes your blind spots. Then we go to Anthony. So Anthony does, with Garth on an annual basis, they do the portfolio health check. This again is at the 10X Elite. And then on a quarterly basis, Anthony does the portfolio review. So how do they do this in terms of the portfolio optimization and the wealth plan? Well, firstly, they've got the wealth EQ. So who is that? Who are you as an individual? Secondly, it's about your portfolio optimization. Thirdly, it's about your asset income model. And then it's your overall plan. But imagine if you could check in quarterly with Anthony, because if you're getting a 6% return, most people are going to run out of money by the age of 80, between 85 and 86. If you're getting a 7% return, and this is net after fees, after inflation, you're going to have money until you're 99. And if you're getting an 8% return, you're going to get a return of about $7.6 million. 1%. So the question is not who's doing your planning. Who is helping you get your 1%? Imagine if you were working with a financial office, a financial expert, a financial authority on a quarterly basis to just keep looking at your plan, making sure it's balanced, make sure you're getting the best performance. That is why we have 10X Elite. I hold your identity and accountability and execution on a monthly basis, and Anthony looks at your financial plan and your optimization on a quarterly basis. And then finally, a part that evolved because of our mastermind was so many people came to us and said, what about my children? How do I create a plan that's beyond me? What about my children and my children's children? And so that's all about your legacy. And so we brought in Amy. Amy is a FEED certified facilitator. She went to America. She learned from one of the best facilities in the world. She did a 4-year training there. And so what is Family 360? As a family grows, it faces challenges of maintaining closeness, trust, and connection, especially when it comes to maintaining and managing money, finances, and investing. How can a family ensure financial transparency, shared goals, and healthy attitude towards wealth that strengthens their bond over time? How does the family address financial stress, past financial mistakes, or setbacks, ensuring the past challenges do not define their future prosperity? And most importantly, how can a family create a lasting financial legacy, one that sustains wealth, empowers future generations, and fosters financial literacy for all members? Family 360 empowers individuals and families to reflect on these 3 essential questions. It offers the opportunity to assess the family's unique financial profile, providing a deeper understanding of emotional relationships and money and aligning financial goals and values. By focusing on healthy financial dynamics, Family 360 helps family navigate past trauma, overcome financial adversity, and strengthen their ability to build wealth together. It nurtures strong financial relationships that endure, creating a solid foundation for sustained growth and legacy of financial empowerment. Now, how does Amy do that? She meets with you and the family members once. You then all do a survey or a test, which is done individually. She collates all the data. She brings it back. She then gives you feedback based on the test so that you all understand where you all come from a unique perspective. And then finally, with her help and with obviously the input of the family, you build an entire plan, a legacy plan for your family in terms of how you communicate about money, how you're going to handle money, how are decisions made. Ultimately, it's a legacy plan and a generational plan. So, sound good? Who would like to get involved? Are you starting to understand how 10x Elite actually works? You and I build your 2026 Wealth and Identity Strategy Foundation. You begin this year with me, not in March, not halfway through the year. We start now by getting absolute clarity on your 10x identity. I've just shown you the exercise that I'll take you through in month one. We'll get clear on your direction. We'll get clear on your strategic focus. We'll figure out what you need to subtract. We'll go through the global opportunities which are most aligned with your goals. And we'll make sure that you don't drift in 2026. You hit the ground running with purpose, structure, and alignment. I think you get my energy. I'm quite committed to this 10x thing. And for the people who come on this journey with me, the 20 people that come on the 10x Elite program with me, we're all going to do this, each and every one of us, so that we can ensure that we get our 10x results in 2026. Then in February, you sit with Anthony and he's going to review and rebuild your entire 2026 portfolio and your architecture. This is where your blueprint becomes real. Now, if you're already part of the mastermind and you've already got a plan, that's fine. But the chances are you've been part of it for a year and it's time for a review and make sure that it's still aligned. Anthony goes through your allocation, your risk balance, your currencies, your exposure, your income engines, your time horizons. You start your year with a clean, optimized portfolio instead of trying to catch up in March or April. Now, we did a talk 2 or 3 weeks ago, and Anthony and Garth said the most important thing in 2026 is diversification. It's looking at private equity and looking at debt. It's diversifying, not completely out of America, but looking at European markets, etc. How optimized and ready is your portfolio for 2026 based on family office principles? And again, if you're part of the core environment, the 6K club within the mastermind, that's great, but it's probably time for a review, which is why we've created the 10x Elite. And then finally in Q1, Amy aligns your family system, your conversations, your values, and your legacy framework. This step is what most investors forget. You can 10x returns, but if your family system stays at 2x, your wealth plan collapses. In Q1, Amy will help you get your money conversations aligned, your values clarified, your legacy frameworks established, your household decision-making upgraded, your generational wealth thinking implemented. By the end of Q1, your whole ecosystem is aligned. So I get you clear on your identity and where you're going. Anthony helps you on a quarterly basis to make sure that your portfolio is optimized, and Amy helps you build a legacy which encompasses everything, and you can hand it over to your children in terms of your generational wealth. So if you want to join today, your 2026 full transformation setup, you get the identity with me, you get the portfolio with Garth and Anthony, and you get the family system with Amy. This is the only way to hit the ground running in 2026 and take full advantage of the most important compounding window of the year. So to round it up, in 2026, you need a 10x blueprint. You need to map who you must become, what you must remove, and how you must diversify. The question is simple. Do you want to carry this 10x vision alone, or do you want the structure that ensures you can exit? If you want the simplicity, the leverage, the accountability, and the precision that makes 10x inevitable, then the 10x Elite is your next step. And what I've been sharing with you all day today is this 10x Elite. Most of our mastermind members are part of our 6K club, or what we call core. And for those, I've given you a very unique opportunity tonight to do the members upgrade, where you can literally put down a $500 deposit, secure the price lock, secure your position alongside the others. And remember, obviously, that there's already 11 members that are part of the 12K club, or what we're calling the 10X Elite Club. So they'll obviously get first dibs, which means there's only 9 spots that actually are available. And the original investment that you've made is credited to you. So you've lost nothing. Why are we doing that? Because we fundamentally believe that the process and the steps you've gone through in core are vital to building a nice solid foundation. You do core first and you build a solid foundation. And now it's time to accelerate. And that's why the execution environment, the 10x implementation and results is so important. And that's why you can see the little arrow here. That is what I've focused on for the whole day today, or whatever time zone you're in terms of where you're at. So just a reminder, if you're interested, you go to diversificationmastermind.com. The two options, priority, that's where you're going to implement the 10x in 2026, and the apply, you're going to book a call with me. What's really interesting to me, this is a no-brainer to me. When I first read this book, when Paul O'Mahony gave me this book, I was like, this is a no-brainer. Paul O'Mahony was so impressed by this book. He's listened to it multiple times. He's implemented it across his whole mastermind. Robin Banks was so impressed. He went and implemented across his entire mastermind. I subsequently did research, and this was one of the most talked about books in 2025 in terms of the impact. And the term 10x is now being used all over the place. And so the question I have for you, if it is so important to people that are already performing at a 10x level, I hope that it's important to you. And if it's important to you, and if you're as committed as I am to 10xing in 2026, then it becomes really simple. You literally go to the priority button, you pay $500, and you book your slot with me to get started. That's it. That's all you need to do. That's the only decision you need to make. And if you're not part of the mastermind and this has intrigued you and you want to, then apply. You go to the apply button and you'll meet with Alex, my colleague, and we can see whether we'll be able to assist you with the mastermind. I want to finish off with 3 bonuses that you're going to get if you join the 10x Elite. One of the things that, as you've probably noticed, I do everything using ChatGPT. I run my entire personal life. I run my entire business life. Everything that I now do within business and personal is within and using AI. So how do you leverage AI? One of the things that we're going to do, and the people that are part of 10x Elite, every single month, I'm going to be showing you how to use AI to go to the next level. This year, and in the next couple of months, we're going to be launching the whole AI infrastructure. We're calling it our wealth twin reveal. Imagine having your wealth twin in your pocket, where we'll literally take all of your information, your clone, your wealth EQ, your full plan from your financial office, everything about you. We'll put it in there so that you literally have it in your pocket in terms of that process. Early next year, we'll be unveiling something I've been building quietly behind the scenes, a breakthrough that brings personalized wealth strategy, behavioral intelligence, and AI guidance together in one integrated system. This is pioneering technology. It's designed to change the way you plan, invest, make decisions, and create financial freedom for the rest of your life. It adapts to your wealth DNA, understands your behavior, guides your investment path, and supports you on a journey to long-term wealth and legacy. If you want to be among the first to experience this world-first innovation when it launches, again, I don't know if it's launching in February or March. We'll launch it when we're ready. Register your interest. And again, spaces will literally be, so I'm going to work with the 10x Elite. They will be the first to really come on this journey with me. The value of that is over $3,000. So, more than 50% of what you're getting to join the 10x Elite already. The Wealth Weekend. So if you're part of the 10x Elite, we actually throw in a ticket. The accommodation not included in that, but we throw in a ticket for you. So, the value of that, well, that's hard to determine, but whether you want to come in March or in October, the value of the Wealth Weekend ticket is actually thrown in as a bonus. And the other bonus is you get to join our 10x Inner Circle. So this is going to be a group. It's going to be that group of 20 people. And all we're going to do is collaborate. So we're going to, because the thing I learned from, again, as Jim Rohn said, you're only as good as the 5 people you hang around with. What about if we share resources? I'm going to go and I'm really going to study this. I'm going to go into this. I'm already going to, once I finish this book reading again, I'm going to do who, not how. Then I'm going to do the gap, not the gain. This is my big theme for 2026. And along with others, we're going to find incredible resources. We're going to find AI. We're going to find prompts and everything else. And what we'll do is we'll meet on a monthly basis. We'll discuss it. We'll have a group to be able to share resources. We've got the vault in terms of our 10x vault. And so I like to call it our inner circle. It's our inner circle. It's how we are going to accelerate your growth in terms of the inner circle. So again, I don't know what the value is of that. You can put your own number to it. It's a private execution community for prompts, playbooks, accountability, and real investor implementation. So that's everything. If you want to join, then that's how you 10x your life, business, and wealth in 2026. You've got the priority button and you've got the apply button. The next part is important because it's a no-brainer moment for those who are already in the mastermind. You see, if you've already invested the 6K, you're not even starting from scratch. You've already invested. And tonight, the investment becomes a credit. Why are we doing that? Well, because you've already done the call. And so now we want you to be able to easily and no-brainer be able to upgrade to the 10X Elite for an additional 6K. Why is it such a big deal? Well, because on the 1st of March, the 6K is being renamed. It's going to Core, and the 12K is being renamed, and it's going to 10X Elite. And the price is going from 12 to 15. So the price is actually going up from 12 to 15. So the difference to be able to upgrade after the 1st of March will be an additional 9K. Whereas at the moment, you're getting it for 6K. So you're actually saving yourself 33% in terms of the money. And that's what we're calling our members upgrade and our price lock. If you're looking for the old pricing, then your 6K is fully recognized and you're stepping into the next level in terms of the execution, where results become inevitable. Monthly strategy with me, deeper portfolio cadence with Anthony, and a 10X implementation container with myself, Anthony, and Amy in terms of that process. This isn't about spending more. This is about converting what you've already committed and taking it to the next level with regards to the environment to getting the results. If you want the upgrade, to secure your seat, literally pay the $500 and Shanika will follow up with you to confirm whether you want to do a one-off payment, a 3-part payment, or an annual monthly payment. And the upgrade window is literally open until my birthday. So it's my gift, 2 years to keep it open until my birthday. After that, we'll start looking at the new pricing and I won't be able to honor the founder's credit anymore. That was my gift. That's my birthday gift to everyone. And or obviously if we hit the 20 people, because I can't, it's one-to-one coaching. There's no ways I can do more than that. If you're serious about 2026 being the year, you stop relying on active income and you want to build a globally diversified passive income system, then this is your moment. Go to priority, literally put on your deposit, lock it in, and let's go. Find the time in the diary and literally let's get started. So I just said to the team, let's remove the bottlenecks. Let's get people started in terms of that process. I want to leave you with 2 final thoughts before we finish. There'll be some people that'll be saying, I want to think about it. And it's interesting because that's totally fair. But here's the honest truth. I'll think about it is exactly what your 2X identity is doing. It's about buying time. Because if this is aligned, it's not a logic problem. It's an execution decision. You've already invested 6K. So tonight, you're not deciding whether to start. You're deciding whether to upgrade your environment so that you can actually follow through. And there's a practical reality. On my birthday, which is the 9th of February, the founders upgrade closes. And from the 1st of March, the pricing actually goes up, meaning you'll pay more later for the same outcome. So don't think like a consumer. Decide like an investor. Do I want a 10X year or do I want another year of good intentions? For those who want a 10X year, literally secure your seat with me and come on a journey and we'll handle the rest tomorrow. The next thing I wanted to share with you was, I did promise you the workbook, the 10X principles cheat sheet, and the 10X execution and implementation plan. You will get those. We will email those out to you. Anyone that actually filled in the survey, and or obviously anyone that joined the 10X. So the 10X, you'll have everything. It'll be in the workbook. And then for those of you that are part of the mastermind already, just remember that if you go to the classroom and you go to monthly recordings, I did do this recording for you in December, and the workbook and the principles are there. So you do have them. If you're already part of the mastermind, they're already there for you. Okay, I want to finish off with the final thing, which is the 4 C's formula. And this is really interesting because you've got commitment, courage, capability, and confidence. But I want to read an excerpt from the book, and let me stop sharing here. Well, I'll leave it up actually so that you can see what it says. So I dog-eared this because it was so good. Elevating and committing to specific standards is how you evolve your identity. Elevating your standards and 10Xing yourself involves a process outlined by Dan Sullivan's 4 C's formula: commitment, courage, capability, and confidence. Nothing happens until you commit. As you commit to your specific standard far above your current capability and confidence, it pushes you outside your knowledge and your comfort zone, hence your courage. Through courageously adapting towards your commitment, you experience many losses and failures along the way, which you can utilize as feedback and learning. By adapting and applying your learning, you develop capabilities and skills you previously didn't have, which you would not have developed without having fully made the commitment. Commitment leads to mastery, wherein you normalize the new standard. At this level, you have a higher degree of confidence. You're now your 10x self, and it's completely normal for you, despite the fact that both who you are now and your normal life are unfathomable from your past self. With a higher degree of confidence, you now see and attract bigger and better opportunities, which previously weren't available to you, enabling you to start the 4C cycle anew by making the next level of commitment. Letting go of the 80% of your identity, including activities, situations, and people, can feel like an enormous loss. Letting go of who you've been, how people have seen you, and how others related to you can feel you're losing a big part of yourself. Elevating your standards is not easy by any means. This is hard to let go of your current and former identity. It's certainly much, much easier than continuing on a path just because that's what you've been doing, 2x thinking. To go 10x, you live based on freedom. You choose the standards you want because that's what you intrinsically want, and you're not worried about other people's opinion. Your flexibility evolves your identity, letting go of things that once made up a core component of who you were. It takes enormous commitment and courage to raise your minimum standard, yet it's how you evolve yourself as a person. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very, very much for your time. I remind you that nothing happens until you commit. And so thank you very much. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to share this all with you. You know, by the gift that you give me by sharing with the community, and by going and learning this and preparing this and doing all the workbooks and helping my 10X Elite members implement this on a monthly basis, it makes me do the work for myself, which I don't have words for it from a gratitude perspective, because I wanted 10X. I believe that I was put on this planet to achieve really big things, and I believe I've got huge potential, and that's why I've said I've always had these 10X goals, but I've been behaving like a 2X person. And you're giving me the gift by, with that whole principle of Zig Ziglar. If you help enough other people get what they want, you can have anything you want. And so by me helping everyone else get what they want in terms of 10X, it's enabling me to go 10X. And for that, I'm truly, truly grateful. If you are keen to come on this journey with me, I'm looking for 20 people to come on a 12-month journey where we implement every single month one of the core principles, so that by the end of 2026, this is your norm. This is your new operating system. I've managed to get on board as partners, Garth and Anthony from the family office, so that I will do it on a monthly basis. They will help you with your portfolio on a quarterly basis. And I've also got Amy on board to help you with your family integration, your family legacy, and ultimately your generational wealth. I believe that this is something that I'm truly proud of and really, really grateful as we take our mastermind to the next level in terms of the process. And so to the current mastermind members, I hope you enjoyed our birthday gift, where we've literally made it a no-brainer for you to evolve from core to the elite, in this 10X Elite in terms of the process. To those that aren't part of the mastermind, I hope that you enjoyed the gift of the knowledge, but do understand that the knowledge is pretty much worthless without being in the right environment and without execution. And you know what's interesting? Whenever you do something the first time, the people that join you the first time are the ones that get the most benefit, because they're the ones that help you evolve. They're the ones that help you design the course in terms of the process. And so for the 20 lucky people, including myself, so call us 21 people that are going on this journey this year, I think it's going to be an incredible journey. I don't know. I know that the 11 people who are already part of the 12K club have committed and are on the journey with me. So I don't know who the other 9 are going to be. I look forward to finding that out. But I do look forward to coming on that journey with you and to holding you to account and to helping you go to the next level in terms of 10x. I will just check. Let me put my glasses on if there's any questions. If there are any questions, please let me know. Sorry, I've been talking a lot here. What's the time? Okay, so let me just see if there's any questions. If you haven't filled in the poll, please do. I would appreciate it. Boom, 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 boom. So if you did put a question, please just put it at the bottom again. There's so many comments here. I just need to check. Mike, I'm not sure what day of the week. We will determine that with the group. It won't be it'll just be once a month. It'll be about implementing the core policies. I already meet on a Friday. If people want to come on a Friday, they can talk about it. But yeah, with regards to 10x, it'll just be once a month. Boom, 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 boom. Thank you, Brenton, for the kind words. Justin and the others, I will share the slides, but only either I'll do it within the mastermind group, within the wealth hackers, and within my 10x group. I'm not just going to share them for free. Richard, yeah, if you, as I say, if you want to join, $500, that's the deposit, and then you do the upgrade. I know Sonia, you've just joined at the core level, so the 6K level. So yeah. But we have tried to make this a no-brainer for people who want to participate and come on the 10x journey with me. Thank you for the kind words. There's lots of them. Safina, Simon, Jao, Angie. I'm just looking through everything else. Sure, there's so many comments. Sorry, Sherry, I don't know. The poll is up. I didn't take it down, so I'm not sure if you don't have it. I don't know how to put it back up. Kubus, lovely to see you again, dude. You and I need to work together. I think much more. I think the 10x thing is something we should work on together. Okay. I don't think there's any questions that I can see looking through. There's lots of kind comments, but I don't think there's any questions. Okay, so let me just see. Someone's saying there's a QR code. Let me grab the QR code. Get the QR code. Oh, there we are. Okay, there's the QR code. If you want to go to your poll, there's the QR code. Thank you, Brenton. I appreciate it. So if anyone wants to do the poll, there it is. It is still up. I haven't actually closed it yet. So okay, so there's the poll. If you want to scan it, I'm just going to go back to this here. Cool. Okay. I see there's lots of kind words, so really appreciate it. So that was 2 hours. Lots of information. I do hope that no matter what you do, based on tonight, that you make a decision and you commit. So I love those 4 C's, by the way. So clever if you think about it. Like, you make the commitment. I've been talking about commitment forever, but I love the way that he added courage, because it does take courage to do something you're not 100% sure about. You don't have the capability, you don't have the confidence, but it takes the courage and it takes the commitment. And when you've got the courage and the commitment, obviously you've got to trust the people you're jumping in with, the partners, because, you know, at the end of the day, you're going on a partnership. And that's why I try and share this information so that people can get to know me, get to know who I am. Obviously, we did the presentation with Anthony and Garth, 2 weeks ago. At the mastermind level, we've got the presentation with Amy in 2 weeks' time. So you really know who the partners are that are holding your hand to help you 10x. But it's all about creating the right environment. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that for you, that you help yourself answer that question. How do you 10x your life? That's my question for 2026. I've answered my question on how I'm going to 10x my life. By getting 20 other people to come on a journey with me, I'm going to 10x my life, because not only is that going to inspire me to help them, but it's going to help me to hold me to account to go to the next level in terms of 10xing. And so for those of you who come on the journey with me, I welcome it. I look forward to it. And let's 10x the year. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.